And we're live. What's happening, everybody? Happy Sunday night. Um, this may actually be a short one tonight because we've got crazy storms coming through over the next couple of hours here. So I'm probably going to call it quits early so we can clean up clean everything up and get the tornado room ready. Six dogs. That ought to be fun. Uh, so how is everybody on this wonderful stormy Sunday night? So you guys on the East Coast and the West Coast, you're missing it, but the whole middle part of the country is like it's crazy out there. It's snowstorms and tornadoes and all kinds of wildness. If you happen to be in the area, right, make sure middle of the country, make sure you're tuned into like a weather channel besides us, just in case. So we got Shannon. What's happening? Mexican Spec is in the house. Joker, how are you, brother man? Steve Stevenson, always there. Rocco, how's it going, Rocco? Um, the usuals, all the usuals in here. Nathan McCree, Scoop, what's happening? So what's new and exciting with you guys? Alien Bigfoot Depot. So you actually at the depot right now? Because that would be pretty that's bitching, right? Stang Lincoln, what's happening? Bill McHeiska, how are you? John T. Paul Capizzola, Ford LTD. You're all piling in here. Oscar Gonzalez, Dripping Glass. Uh, Good to see you all, my friends. Old Carnut, a couple of new names. Tim Squire, what's happening, brother? Uh, yeah, let's just do a night where we just say hi to everybody. That's all we need to do. The Ralph, it's the upper 70s there in California. It's always beautiful in California. If the place wasn't so screwed up economically and politically and everything else, I think I'd probably be there right now. Joker, yeah, the East Coast is getting that storm tomorrow. Um, Hunter Callan, what's happening? Uh, oh, hey, Uncle Tony, hey, Hunter. When is original patina no longer viable in a 58 Edsel in time to paint? Dude, I've seen some wild patina, like right through to like complete rust through. I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. Um, 58 Edsel, I don't know. I'd have to see a picture of it, but patina is in the eye of the beholder. Craig Chido was saying it's windy in Western New York already. Western New York. I miss Western. Well, Western New York was a cool place. I good and bad memories up there. Well, Leicester. Um, uh, the Bill Howard show. You can stay with me in Cali. I have a spare room. You don't want me living with you, man. Trust me. I wouldn't want me living with me. I Kathy should probably be institutionalized for living with me. But yeah, no. Thanks for the offer, but you don't want it. You don't want that. Um, you hear a chime. Oscar Gonzalez says, "I keep getting these notifications." Uh, I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's a notification as it keeps coming, and I have no idea what they are because this is Kathy Banana's computer, so I have no idea what anything is. She says go sit there, and I go and I sit here, press that button, and I press that button, and boof, here you are. I'm so helpless, it's ridiculous. Um, Bill Hound's been working on his tan. Nice, nice. Um, let's see. Dan IT guy, Western Kentucky. Yeah. Uh, Gato GA Auto Repair, what's happening? Rope. I have three properties, a total of 45 miles apart right now. Blizzard warning, thunderstorm warning, tornado watch. Go figure. It's a crazy day. I was just watching Ryan Hall, and yeah, it's a little nutty out there. Um, Scrolling up here now. Post-traumatic stress to fail. Listen, I've earned it. I've earned it. If, if you guys only knew the half of it, I've earned it. Um, let's see. Indisha Doggo. My son is coming home from the war, so I'm getting a 73 pound. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome. Was he out there in the sandbox doing this stuff now, or I'm glad he's coming home. Bill Kennedy, am I tired of Tennessee? I love Tennessee. I love everything about Tennessee except that we still get winter here, and it's not a big winter, it's not a crazy winter, but it's like for 2 or 3 months it's unpleasant to be outside, and I'm too old for that. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Uh, Bill Hahn, you're literally 2 miles from where OCIR was. I was there the last year, in the capacity of a magazine guy, not with any race cars. Shanika, I was in Nam. I came home early. I came home only to find my parents had sold you a '69 Mustang. Oh, that's terrible. Do you talk to them? Like after like 50 years, you're still not talking to them. Indisha Dorgo, yes, he was. First snatching oil tankers and then the sandbox. He'll be home for 2 weeks and then back to it. Oh, he's coming home on leave. I thought he was done. Oh, that's okay. I enjoy the company, man. We enjoy his company. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Territory Tony, when will Improbable make feature guest on the channel? That project had great money. I don't know what money means. It's soon, soon. Actually, there are things are happening with the channel right now. Good things, but I don't want to talk about them yet because things aren't quite solidified yet. But things are going to happen now, start happening now to make life a little bit easier, and we'll be able to get out a little bit more. So yes, boy, that sounds so vague, doesn't it? It's just vague. Things are looking good for all of the different projects. Um, Except for the Belvedere. I moved the Belvedere today. So I went to the carburetor, I put it on there, fired right up, ran good and everything. And I took it out. So we had it down at that storage unit. And that storage unit is actually becoming another shop. And I'll get into that in a couple of weeks once things are moving forward. But that storage unit down there is going to become a second shop, a second UTG shop. So I put the carburetor on it yesterday. I ran down there, fired it up, sounded great, everything was good. And I took it for a couple of reps, a couple of like late night reps. I did not bring a camera with me because I was not intending to. And it wasn't sounding so hot when it wasn't sounding so good when I pulled it back in. And then this afternoon, I popped it up on the trailer, and it wasn't sounding good. I may have twacked something in the process of having a couple of seconds of fun last night. Yeah. Rocco, is Uncle Crystal coming back out of retirement? No, no, she's permanently and ultimately, retired. Okay, let's just say let's call it retired. Okay, let's call it retired. Zero is in the house. What's happening, Zero? And so is Fubar. What's happening, guys? The two of the three greatest mods in all of YouTube. And Zero is our spiritual advisor, and he also helps name all of our dogs as they come along. So Yes. I'm just going to scroll back up here. Dan IT guy. I lived near Belvedere, Illinois, a couple of years ago. Much happier in Kentucky. I used to love Illinois. I spent a lot of time, in the Chicago area back in the '90s. Um, Actually, Union Grove, Wisconsin was right over the border, was like it was my home track. I was there constantly, even though I lived in New York City, and I had a lot of friends in the Chicago area, and I was always staying in that, and I loved it. I mean, I really, really loved it up there. But it's changed a lot. I know that. So I know it's not the same place. Um, let's see. Oh, you guys are getting into some political stuff going on there. It's all right. David Kaitova, any dealings with the Dodge NASCAR engines? No, I can't say I've ever actually been in the presence of one. Um, oh, I was actually, yes, at David Vizard's place. But I mean, literally, that's as close as I've gotten, and nothing. Like it was just sitting there under the hood of the car. That's as close as I've ever got to a NASCAR small block. Um, I did at one point. I owned. I bought a trailer full of small block parts that came from Petty Enterprises. It was all of their short track, small block stuff. I got tons of 340 blocks and heads, all kinds of different heads. Lots of 305 parts. The 305 small block that they run for Trans Am, and then they ran in NASCAR for a while. Um, so yeah, I had a lot of stuff in my hands. Sold. I sold all of it because that was the business that I was in. Um, Esther Vaha. Good evening. Good evening. I forgot my phone, so I'm logged in on my wife's account. Oh, okay. Territory Tony, when are you officially on motorcycle weather? Oh, for the last couple of weeks. And actually, I took a spin. I took a spin today while I was contemplating what the damage I may or may not have done to the Belvedere. Um, this is this is a time to get up on two wheels and forget about things. Uh, let's see. Bill Hound Show. Tony, in the late '60s, early '70s was NASCAR's best era. My opinion, yeah, yeah. Mid '60s to the mid '70s, and then for just a little bit of time, like the Dale Earnhardt era, um, middle 1980s to late 1980s. Yeah, that was actually that was premium spectacle motorsports. That was great. But from a gearhead standpoint, late '60s, early '70s, absolutely, because you can identify with the cars. They were really the cars that you were buying. You look at you, they'll find relics laying around in junkyards and stuff, old NASCAR cars from that era, and they're legit built off of the original cars. They added the stuff they had to, they beefed what they had to, but if it was a Dodge Charger, it started out as a Dodge Charger. Um, Creep 1964. Can an engine have a blown head gasket even if it has good compression? Yes. Yeah, getting a lot of water in my small block Chevy engine. Yeah, under pressure. Um, so remember, the water itself is going to act as a sealant. So if you've got a break, so in other words, if you're going to do a compression test on an engine, if you got a tiny break in the head gasket, the water is going to sit in there, and during that compression test, it's going to act as it's going to add resistance. But now start the engine, have the water temperature get up high, and now the pressure of the cooling system is going to push that water into the combustion chamber. So yes, you absolutely can have a bad head gasket and good compression. Um, Paul's Hard Garage. Hey, Tom, how bad is the performance of the 177 318 intake heads if we're going to use with flash cam? It's not bad at all. The valve is in good proportion. So the 188 valve was used for the 273 and the 318, which are both sub 4-inch bore engines. The 318 is 3.91. So proportionally, right, the size of the bore and the size of the valve are in sync with each other. When they went 900 over with that, I'm sorry, not 900. When they went to 90 over with that, to go to the 4-inch 360, they went to the 188 valve. 4-inch plus 40, they went to the 202 valve. So the valve was actually in pretty good proportion with the bore. Not perfect. It's really perfectly suited to the 273 that it was originally designed for, but it's not bad. Bill Hounds is saying he asked because I saw a NASCAR race in 1968 and I couldn't believe the cars were going over 200 miles an hour. It was unreal. It must have been so sketchy. Yeah, those were those guys had massive cojones driving those cars at those speeds. That was a lot of car. It was a lot of car. It was a lot of real estate, and that was before they had the windbreak deals on the roof. So if you got out of shape, it would break the airflow over the roof. They didn't have that back then. So when you got out of shape, you flew. For whatever any reason you got any air under the car, they flew. So yeah, those guys, they had some serious cojones. You ask Bill's saying, how could those late 60s go over 200 miles an hour? I find it hard to believe. They had a pretty good grasp on aero, especially around 1968, 1969. By 1969, they really understood the aero. They did it. It was brutal. You know what I mean? There was like no finesse about it. But they did it. It was all power. Remember the engines that were running those cars was this, and that was before the restrictor plates or anything. Rocco is asking if was there decent money in NASCAR. I don't know, bro. I was never a NASCAR aficionado, so I never really followed it. There was a lot of factory money in it back then. Dripping Glass saying 68 Mopar still had door handles and vent wings. Yeah, but they were starting to get, that was 68. That was Petty with the vinyl roof. And so Petty ran a 68 Roadrunner in 68. And they didn't, it wasn't rhino liner, but it was like the equivalent of rhino liner. They painted the roof with it, for that golf ball effect, so the air wouldn't stick to the roof. And that was kind of aero stuff they were doing back then. They were chopping windshields. They were raking the roofs on those cars. They were doing all sorts of really funky little things for that tiny aero edge. Hold on. I'm just scrolling up in case I missed anything. Scott Dewey, somebody's name. Hey Tony, I've got a beat up hunting truck that's got a lifter tick like crazy when it's cold. This thing was a sludge puppy, so I assume it's sticking and it's just helping sort the stuck lifter. I mean, you could try the, excuse me, allergies. My sinuses have been like stuffed all day. The barometric pressure starts going crazy, and then you get the allergies. And I'm excuse me. You could try all of the classic ones, man. Marvel Mystery Oil may help. Some ATF in there could help. Um, I, stuff in a can. Try stuff in a can. Let's see. Jeff Jacobson. Another Steve's. uh, Hey Tony, I know you used to mess with thermoquads. Do you know where I might be able to find a competition series 1000 CFM? No. I'm building an F-body with a 10 to 1 318 and a modified kegger. The kegger intake manifold? You mean like the Magnum intake manifold? It's not gonna, bro. Listen, I don't want to piss any Cheerios. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. That manifold. I looked at that. I was going to play around when I was on to flow gasoline through there. It's going to be miserable. It's going to be very sloppy. It may be okay at wide open throttle, higher RPM, wide open throttle, but as far as like drivability, that sort of thing, it's going to be miserable, bro. Don't waste your time with it. Dan IT guy, I love what you do, UTG. Well, thank you. You're like the last one. Thank you for sharing some knowledge with those of us to feed on it. Would love to see you do a car trivia show sometime. We used to do trivia with John Wilburn every Sunday night. Uh, I miss John. We got to get him on here at some point. Oh, sorry, my sinuses are locking up as I'm talking to you. We used to do Sunday night trivia. Uh, maybe we'll get John on here again. We'll do that. I don't have John's phone number. If any of you guys have John Wilburn's phone number, throw him a message and tell him, give me a text, because my phone got nuked a couple of months ago, and I lost all these old phone numbers. So if anybody is in contact with Wilburn, tell him to throw me a text. Zero is putting up a link to a video, Moonshine to the Finish. Legit history of the early years of NASCAR. That sounds like it could be interesting. If it's Zero approved, it's good. He screened it and it's worth watching. Lumpy is saying NASCAR jumped the shark decades ago. Yeah. NASCAR, in my opinion, NASCAR died with Dale Earnhardt. He was NASCAR. I mean, you had all the you had a lot of characters there. There were a lot of good drivers. There was a lot of good personality to it all. But really, he was the meat. You know what I mean? He was the meat in the meatloaf. Lots of other ingredients and stuff, but he was the actual meat. And when he died, it was like I just completely lost interest in watching. But when he was out there, I never missed a race, and I really could care less about NASCAR. But I would never miss a race. Let's see. Mopar Else debacle. It's like how Rocco. I thought Wilburn was mouthing off. we had a few words, I think. But to me, it's water under the bridge. It's water under the bridge. You know, friends have disagreements. Friends get mad at each other and stuff like that. But he never did anything that was so egregious that I wouldn't want to talk to him again. In fact, we have talked since then. We just haven't done anything together. We would touch base with each other every once in a while just to say hi. But we just haven't done anything online. Let's see. Greg Little, do you know what's the lowest stall you can use a double pump or carburetor on? I'm having issues. I'm using a 1500 stall and foot braking it. 1500. Well, right there it is. That's super tight. Even by the stock standards, most of them are 1900, 1800, 1900. Uh, that's a very tight stall. If you're on any sort of cam in that thing, um, if you probably need more initial timing. You probably need more initial ignition timing. Salt. Tony, where in Staten Island did you live? Great Kills most of my life there. Um, I also lived in Willowbrook, and I lived in Huguenot. Um, uh, yeah, a couple small places here and there over the course of the years, but mostly Great Kills. Let's see. Uh, Bill Howard, Tony, will you ever do a drag and drive? Not a chance. Not a chance. Now, if I had somebody who wanted to take one of my cars and do a drag and drive, oh yeah, I'm all over it. Let's do it. But am I actually going to go out and on the road? No, no. Mr. 1980s, I'm telling you, I have an 86 Blazer with a mechanical fuel pump. Every so often, my truck dies on me while maintaining speed, never idle or in park revving the engine. Could this be a faulty pump? Um, it could be a faulty pump, could also be a vapor lock situation because vapor lock happens mostly in mechanical fuel pumps. Because a mechanical fuel pump is it operates at the same temperature as the outside of the engine, 200 degrees, 180 degrees, 200 degrees or thereabouts. Um, it's attached directly to the engine. So you can get fuel boil in the fuel pump, and when that happens, it'll just nose over and die. Um, it could also be it could be like a clogged sock. We'll give you that where it'll be fine, idle, and you can rub the piss out of it. And then if you run it out for a mile or two, fuel flow can't keep up because a sock is clogged. There's a lot of different things that can give it to you. But it's probably if I wouldn't blame the mechanical pump itself, but the temperature of the mechanical pump might be a problem. Um, try dropping the temperature of the engine a little bit. So if you got like a 180 thermostat in there, throw like a 170. Do whatever you can to bring the temperature of the engine down a little bit and see if that makes any difference. Or do something to direct cold air. Maybe take a piece of aluminum and make like a scoop to get some cold air, cooler air as you drive down the road directed at the pump and see if that helps. Um, Here you go, that's please. No offense, your channel cars have a slim chance of finishing a drag and drive because I don't build them to do drag and drive. There's a big difference. My Charger would do drag and drive, but I don't want to race my street cars. I don't like to take things that you drive down the road and take them to the drag strip. Mostly because it's a psychological thing. I do not want a number associated with a car, with a street car, because as soon as it has a number, you have to try to make the number better. I know because I've been there and I've done it. So if I take a car that I just drive on the street, you will never see me take it to a drag strip. Completely against my religion. But if I was to actually set up a car to do drag and drive, like this is the purpose of doing the car, yes, it would make it. Um, let's see, I'm scrolling up a little bit. Ah, Charlie Roma, what's happening? There's an old buddy from Staten Island. Hey, Tony, was the thumbnail from Willowbrook Side Apartments? I don't know what the thumbnail is, bro. I, Kathy picks the thumbnails. I have no idea which thumbnail it is. Let's see. Hang on. All right. That's a picture. That's a picture of a house I lived on Edge Grove Avenue in Huguenot. And if you look on the left side of the house in the driveway, there's a funny car. Um, let's see. Uh, Loud Pipes. Tony, if you were able to resurrect one historical person, who would you choose and why? Oh, that's a good one. If I was to resurrect one historical person, who would I choose and why? Without thinking about it. Okay, so I didn't really give this any thought, but the one that popped into my head, just popped in my head, is Jungle. I would probably resurrect Jungle. I think the world needs him right now. Um, I don't know, man. I'd have to really think about that to give a more substantial answer, and I will. It'll rattle around in the back of my head. Bill Hound, oh come on, Tony, it would be so cool if you did a drag and drive and brought us with you. No, I'm just not. There's just no way I'm doing a drag and drive. It's like there's um like I can explain it to you. I would rather I won't even I can't even make a rational what I would rather do. Okay. Yeah, I would no. No way. I don't get me wrong. I love the idea of it. I think it's great, but it's not something I want to participate in. I went out on the road. I did. I spent my time, bouncing from drag strip to drag strip, and it's in my past. I'm going to do drag and drive. We're doing the nitro cars. But it's the same basic thing. It's good. You drive, 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 go to a drag strip, work, work, work. Then drive, 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 go to another drag strip, work, work, work. Drive, 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 go to another drag strip, work, work, work. Been there, done it, got the T-shirt, and I will never go back to it. Now, the people who are doing it out there now, that's awesome. They're building the memories for themselves now that I built for myself in the past. But no, there is not enough money in the world. There is no motivation. There is nothing that could get me out doing that. Um, I'm scrolling back up here. Uh, Bill, you like to see some old pics from Tony's past? I bet he has some cool ones. I actually don't have many pictures myself. I was never a picture guy. But if you want to see pictures of me, go get Cars Illustrated magazine. Go find 1980s issues of Cars Illustrated or Muscle Car or High Performance Mopar or Mopar Action or Street and Slip Supercar. Or, I mean, God, I was in so many freaking magazines. There's thousands of pictures of me out there doing things. I just don't happen to have any myself. Ego Death. I always assumed you had a bunch of cars that aren't on the channel. Yeah, yeah, I've got several. Um, Mexican spec. What was a funny car? A Plymouth Arrow? No, it was a Chevy Monza. That was the Fireball Monza. Cars Illustrated. What years? Every year. I was in every issue except for the first one. Um, was I in the first one at all? I think I wrote something in the first one, but every other issue after that, there I am. 0 saying, boss, not to mention Bride Magazine, Better Than Your Home and Garden, Ballpoint Pen Weekly, etc. All right, so when I moved from CSK, where I did Cars Illustrated and High Performance Mopar, I moved over to Harris, where I did Mopar Action, Street Supercar, and what was the other one? Mopar Action, Street Supercar. We did Mustang Action. We did oh God! But in order to get we did a drag racing illustrated. No, was it Drag Racing Illustrated? Or was Drag Racing Mustang? Drag Racing Illustrated. So in order to get the drag racing book done, I had to do some favors within the editorial world of Harris Publishing. So I worked on New Woman magazine. I was like a 27-year-old punk mechanic. I was helping put together New Woman magazine and Guitar World. I helped put together the first issue of Guitar World. And I did those so that I would get the budget to do the drag racing magazine, which we did like 2 issues of. And then I was out. I got so much shit. I've covered so much ground in my freaking life. It's ridiculous. Um, purchase, Charlie saying, purchase a T-shirt from Summit Racing of Cars Illustrated magazine. Yeah, if you buy the if you go to Summit Racing and you buy the Cars Illustrated shirt that they sell, I'm driving every car that's on the shirt. This is my picture of all those cars. Josh Holman, New Woman magazine, that must have been emasculating. No, 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 no. I wasn't writing for them or anything like that. I just helped. I helped them get the editorial package through. Um, it was I was a helper getting, you know what I mean? It was like just earning brownie points within the organization so I could get the funding to do what I wanted to do. Sometimes you got to be political, you know. But no, it was cool. All I did was like I helped pick pictures and stuff like that. Ran stuff over to the art department. And remember, this is before all this stuff was done electronically. Now back then it was all cut and paste. So it actually took manpower and legwork and stuff to get things done. The art people, you know, the art department didn't just press buttons. There were no buttons to press. So it was a bit physically involved, running things all over the building to get stuff done. So um, I'm scrolling up. Robert Real, what years did I write for Hot Rod? Just 1997. And I was supposed to become the East Coast editor of Hot Rod, and I had a blowout with Ron McGonigal, who was the editor at the time. Because I fight with everybody, especially back then. It's like I'm very very mellow now. Like I'm very mellow, but back then I fought with everybody, and that was exactly during the time that I was doing fuel cars. So I was like, you know, I had my feet in 2 worlds. I was bouncing around all over the country with nitro cars and doing magazine stuff at the same time. So it was a little crazy. Those people were like, oh, go do drag and drive. Oh no, you know, You guys don't know. You guys don't know. Um, I bounced everywhere. It was crazy, and I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Um, I'm scrolling back up in case you missed anything. The Brunt brothers. That was Cliff Gromer. The Brunt brothers was just a name that Cliff Gromer used, so that he could get paid for stuff that he liked to get paid multiple times for things. So he would rehash stories. He would do one under his own name, and then he would do one under the Brunt brothers, or there were so many different names that he used. But the Brunt brothers was Cliff. Um, hey Dakota, what's happening? No, no tang tonight. I have some orange juice inside, but I just grabbed a glass of water coming in here. Um, Scrolling back up. Did Ask Tim move to New Hampshire? Tim stayed with Cars Illustrated. World of Woodchip. What was the character you did with a different angle of his face every month? No, that wasn't me. Um, who was that? I'll tell you who it was. I'll tell you who it was. It wasn't me. It was in Carcraft magazine, and it was. Oh, this is what happens when you get old and your brain starts to die. I'm trying to. It'll come to me in a minute. Very famous guy, very well respected guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was the editor of Carcraft magazine. And in 1969, I think it was, might have been 1970. What he did was he had a picture, an editorial picture. So every month there was this picture on the column, and every month he turned a little bit more. So, so January he was like looking straight at you, and in February he was like this, and in March he was like this, and in February he was like this, and he kept going all the way around. Every month he was in a different position until he got to December and he was facing you again. And I can't remember who the hell it was. He was the editor of Carcraft magazine, one of the great editors of all time, and for the life of me, I can't remember who it was. Somebody's going to say it, I'm going to be like, oh my God, how did that name escape me? Uh, David Allan Coe killed a man in prison. That's cool. Um, I'm scrolling back up. Fun with cars. UTG, what interesting experience do you miss the most? Or if you could go back and relive it for the day, what would you choose? What interesting experience do you miss the most? And if you can go back and relive it for the day, what would I choose? The, the open mic nights that we used to have at my first coffee house on Staten Island, the Grind. So that would be 2001, 2002, and then I moved here in 2003. Um, the open mic nights that we used to have. There was every Tuesday and every Thursday night, and we would start them at like 8 o'clock at night, and they got really popular really fast. And after a couple of months of doing them, we had people come from all over, everywhere, right? From New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, to come to these open mic nights. They were just awesome. And I remember one morning, okay, we started at 8 o'clock the night before, and the sun was coming up. and there were still people lined up wanting to play. And there were the commuters were walking past the front of my place on their way to the train station in the morning. Uh, so if I go back and relive those days, that was just amazing. The energy was just so incredible during those nights. That's what I would want to go back to. I gave a different answer last time. Well, you know what, bro? It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. You're going to get a different answer depending on what kind of mood that I'm in. Um, that's you asked me tonight, and this is what my head goes back to. I'm scrolling back up. PV, did you ever work with Roland Leong? Just finished his book and seemed like a brilliant person. No, I never had the honor. I met him a time or two, but I was like a peon. Uh, so no, I never got to work with him. But nothing but ultimate respect for Roland. Everybody had respect for Roland. No, you never heard a bad word, a negative word, nothing. That guy, he was all right. Um, Hunter Aldridge. Tony, I bought a decent sports story this week from your advice, and I broke my ankle at work the next day. Tell me it isn't a bad sign. Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, listen, yeah, it might be an omen. I mean, it might be an omen. I don't know. Salt. You have a race on Tuesday night after the car show in Staten Island. Thursday night. Thursday night. And yes, the whole purpose of the car show in Staten Island was to go find the people you were going to race. That was the reason for it. And then, of course, all of the people who just want to, oh, look at me, look at me, look at my fancy car. They filled it out and really made the vast majority of that crowd. Charlie was there. Where is he? 340 pack. He was there. He could probably tell you. He'd probably tell you more Thursday night Highland Boulevard stories than I could. Uh, Zero, boss. The Q&A section of the magazine. That was just you asking the question. Yep. Nobody ever, nobody ever wrote into those magazines. That was all nonsense. Every one of them was made up. Uh, let's see. I'm just scrolling back up. Jay Weiss, what car movies do you like? I bet you like original Gone in 60 Seconds. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I'm not a movie person. I take things far too literally. Like I was born without suspension of disbelief. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I'm just not a movie person. I spot all the things, the inconsistencies or the incongruencies, or if people are acting out in the movie aren't doing what I would do in that situation, I dismiss it as like, oh, that's just nonsense. So I'm not a movie person. Uh, End of time. It's your birthday and you didn't even puke. Happy birthday, end of time. On any Sunday. Yeah, well, but that's not a movie. It was like a documentary kind of thing. That's totally different. Totally different. So American Nitro was awesome. I watched them. I kept like probably 10,000 times. I watched American Nitro. On any Sunday, I watched that countless times. And like there was something like goofball comedies I like. Somebody just put in here Die Zombie Bastards. I love that. Greatest movie of all time. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I've probably seen that like 100 friggin' times. Um, so yeah, I like movies. I like really over the top goofball movies are cool. Uncut Show M9Q. Have you ever done a video on the Chrysler Saturday Night Special cars? I've never heard of a Chrysler Saturday Night Special car. Yeah. It's a mad world. I love that movie. That's great. Um, Ego, that's all good since just about all movies are mind control propaganda. Well, yes. Island Theater Rocky Horror Show every Friday night for a couple of years. Yeah. Loud Pipes, have you seen Bob Lazar interviewed by Garlis about alien spacecraft? No. Um, Garlitz and we would occasionally talk about UFOs. Um, I never had never talked to him about cars or anything like that. But we would go back and forth, just going back probably about 15, 18 years ago, talking about UFOs and shit like that. He sent me some interesting things. This was way back when. Um, but no, I missed a Bob Lazar interview. A lot of people don't know about Garlitz is that he was actually a fairly well-known UFO researcher, and he went under Garlitz Dunn, right? Anything he changed his name around. Anytime he did anything in the UFO world, he published under Garlitz Dunn as opposed to the Don Garlitz that we know. But he was actually that was a thing of his. That was a thing of his. Uh, David Allen Tone, ever had any cars you couldn't get the $100 on the dash? Uh, no. For me, it was a five. You can't grab the five. Rocco is saying, didn't Lazar own a strip club? I never heard anything about that. He was a drag racer. He had jet cars. He ran jet cars on and off for years. He may have had some door slammer type of things also, but that's I don't know why, but that's like one of the reasons why I believed him. Because like he's a drag racer. How could he lie? Like, oh, never mind. Um, Ego death, please. I used to say this is important. What you're saying right there. Ego death, please. And I think a lot of people starting to catch on now. Okay. He's saying I used to enjoy movies. I can't get into the trance state anymore, or I hate the actors for political reasons. There's a lot of people who are waking up now and realizing just how crazy and dark, right? The whole Hollywood, the machine is, right? And it's not just movies; it's the music industry. It's everything, right? And there's a lot of people who are just starting to now realize just how bad it actually was. Uh, you're not the only one. Um, Somebody sees each one is saying the Bob Lazar interviews are interesting. He's an interesting guy. I don't know what to make of it. Um, so I don't know what I. Okay, so Bob Lazar, I believe he's sincere. Okay, I believe he's sincere. But what was he actually working with? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Um, was was he set up in a situation that appeared to be what he describes as it is? I don't know. Right? In other words, like, was he used as a deliberate source of disinformation? Whereas it seems that people who the whistleblower types that, like, get into really sensitive stuff, well, they disappear. Done, right? But he's been around forever, and he's never felt threatened or anything like that, which makes me wonder if what he was introduced to or worked on is actually what he believes he was working on. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating a little bit here because he did survive, and I don't believe that he's lying. So I don't know. Let's see. Um, Rocco. I had to look it up. Lazar was arrested in 1990 for aiding and abetting a prostitution ring. Were there kids involved? If there were no kids involved, it's like, Barracuda. Those sons of bitches didn't go to the moon. Tongue is 2025. I know. I know. I just saw I just saw a clip of something recently, right? Having to do with the moon landing, and it was the Apollo guys got back, and they were doing a TV interview. It was like the first interview at post flight and or post moon landing, right? And man, you could tell these guys were uncomfortable. It was like they showed before, you know what I mean? Like they showed the same three guys doing a press conference before, and they're like, yeah, yeah, we're gonna go, we're gonna shoot to the moon, that type of thing. Right? They were all like hyped and stoked and shit like that. And then they showed the press conference that they did immediately, like days after, a day or two after, and they're all like, their body language is all jacked up, and they're looking away, and they're like, you can see all three of them were like, okay, you're gonna ask me questions I can't answer. So there's something to that, where like you take the astronauts. If we didn't go to the moon, I tend to believe I would going off that theory that we didn't go, and I don't believe that we went, right? Uh, and I haven't believed it in decades. Okay, um, but I think it was a situation where these guys trained and actually did think that they were going. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is the real deal. We're going to do it. And then they were introduced to the idea that no, you're actually not going, right? At the time. And like I said, just find the press conference and and watch their body language. You don't have to be a body language expert. Just look at them, and they're all really uncomfortable, and they're like, you can see they're blown out. Okay, they're very very uncomfortable. Uh, World of Woodchip is saying, I think it's totally possible that we went to the moon in the '60s, but we can't figure out how to get there in 2026. But didn't you see the guy from NASA say that they lost that they lost it? They misplaced it. I guess they had the technology in like maybe a cardboard box, and they went to put it in storage, and it got mixed up with old clothes or something, and it got thrown out. It was sent to Goodwill. Because clearly they lost the technology to go to the friggin' moon. Please. Uh, Connerly Havasaw, the Soviets would have screamed bloody murder if we didn't go. That just depends now. That just depends. How much of the Cold War was actually real? Okay. How much of the Cold War was actually real? This is what you gotta wonder. Okay. How much of it was propaganda? How much of it was like a WWF, right, or WWE, whatever the hell they call them? A fake fight for the show to keep everybody like kind of in line. Um, how do you know that they weren't playing along? There's so many questions, and the further along we go, the more things really don't add up. Lots and lots of things don't add up. Um, French Hoover, it has been a while since you did some Jeep stuff. Did the XJ stuff not get as much views? No. Or is it just your focus has shifted for the moment to other things? A little of both, but no, like no views. People not interested in that, or at least my audience isn't interested in that. Um, Sway fact, I visited communist countries in 1990, 1991. I was stationed in Germany in 89 when the wall came down. Trust me, communism wasn't for show. I'm not saying communism was for show or the Soviet Union was for show, but who actually runs the program, right? It's not the political parties. I think it's becoming obvious to people now. The people who are supposed to be the president, or people who are supposed to be the elected leaders and stuff, are not the ones who actually run the program. They're not the ones who actually make the decisions. It's the people behind them. It's the institutions, the think tanks, and eventually, and ultimately the banks that run the world. So yeah, you've got you got the one wrestler, the good guy wrestler, and you got the bad guy wrestler, and they're clashing and stuff like that, right? And in the meantime, their managers are sitting next to each other and they're saying, all right, so what are we going to do for the next? What's the next thing, right? Because let's make him the good guy and him the bad guy next, right? See what I'm saying? All of this stuff is happening behind the scenes. And what we watch, what we see through the TV, through the media, through the news and everything, is the good guy and the bad guy going, oh, bad guy, good guy. And their managers, the people who really run the program, is sitting down at dinner together, figuring out what's the next thing we're going to do. So, let's see. I'm just scrolling back up. I'm scrolling, I'm scrolling, I'm scrolling. Um, the only thing I could say is, and I don't want to use any names, right? But we've all seen files, okay? Because as soon as I see certain names, it ends up in the transcript, and we don't need to deal with that. Okay, but now that people are seeing files, right, and you're only seeing like the really mild stuff right now. Okay, um, now that people are seeing the files and they're seeing how things actually work behind the scenes and who the characters that are put in front of us, how they really are and the things that they really do, and that all of us crazy conspiracy people were right all along. Well, extrapolate that and fill in the blanks, and you tell me what's real and what's not, and what the motivation is. Black ghost story. Um, yeah, I don't even remember. I did two videos on that. It was a couple of years ago now, and I don't remember any of the details. Fubar, the awesome Fubar put up a link to our merch. So we've got our shirts and our hats and our stickers and other things that may or may not be there, may or may not be available. I don't know, but you would find it right there at UncleToysGarage.com. So if you want to support, the stuff that happens here, that's one way you can do it. Go buy yourself some merch, and thank you for putting up the link, Fubar. Um, Thunderbird, anyone ever wrapped broken fuse with foil? Saw this on my truck the other day. Cigarette paper. We used to use the cigarette paper. Packs of cigarettes, packed like an aluminum, aluminum on one side and paper on the other side. Well, that aluminum, you wrap that around the fuse and go down the road. Rocco, tell us a story about your friend who borrowed your boat and ran out of get shop rag. Yeah, he didn't borrow it. I had him go do something on it, and he was going to just take it out for a little spin, and then I don't want to tell the story again. Zero saying, look up the way for the gearhead monk and try not to want one after reading that. Gaggle answer, you're welcome. I look. I haven't read. I wrote that stuff 10 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't remember what was in there. Um, I'm just scrolling back up here. Uh, Glenn McClendon, a 22 short of work too. Yep. I'm just scrolling back up here. Who shot JR? I remember that, man. Dakota, you could not possibly. That was 1980. The whole world was like totally glued to that. That show was called Dallas, and it was JR was Larry Hagman. That was the guy that played on I Dream of Jeannie, and there was a cliffhanger ending. Where the last scene of the season, and he gets shot. You don't know who it was. The whole planet. That's well, not but the whole planet, but anywhere you went, everything was who shot JR. Every conversation revolved around who shot JR. That was one of those like moments in TV that transcended everything, became like real community, and like it was. I remember it. I remember it. That was nearly 50 years ago. Matthew McGee, do you still talk to that guy, Dallas? I haven't talked to Dallas in probably a couple of years now. I don't have any problems with him. I don't know. He's just drifted off. Who shot Mr. Burns? Well, that was a takeoff on Who Shot Jr. Mike Boker, Tony, what are your thoughts on 516 big block heads? Can they support 550 horsepower with some work, or should I find other heads on a 3D3? No, the standard port and bowl cleanup. 550 horsepower, I would go with the bigger exhaust valve because the 516 comes with a 1.66 is 1.60. It's a 1.6 exhaust valve. Go to the 1.74 that you have on the later heads, and just standard bowl cleanup and port cleanup, and yeah, they'll make the 550 with those. End of time. What did the King of England sign when he came to Canada? I don't know. End of time. Throw it out there. Paul Cavazola. What about the final scene of the Sopranos? I can't say I ever watched that show. Maybe I saw an episode or two, but I didn't follow the show, so I don't know. Buddy Carfano, did O.J. Simpson really do the killings? Well, the gloves didn't fit, so you had to acquit, right? Um, Salt, your YouTube search on cars was awesome. Oh, thank you. I think I'm probably gonna do one of those tomorrow. So I can't record just the realities of life. When it's rain, it's supposed to be very rainy tomorrow, and when it rains, I can't record at the shop because it has a metal roof, and there are trees that like to shed things constantly. So and they all are always hitting the roof. So I can't record at the shop in the rain. So I'll probably end up doing. I think I'm going to do one of those search videos tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what the topic's going to be yet. All right. So what do you guys want to see me search on Marketplace? I think we're going to do one of those videos tomorrow. What should I search for? James Estep. You know that's Kathy Banana's maiden name, Estep, E-S-T-E-P. Whatever came in the cam bushings on the Sportster, what's the current plan for the DIY fix? That was another one that got no views, like no views. And so I just pushed it off on the side for the time being. Zero saying, boss, it's been entertaining, so no worries. What's been entertaining? What did I miss, Zero? What did I miss? Let's see. I'm scrolling back up here. I just only easy train. OJ never did find the real killer. I bet he was close. The real killer must have got him at the end. Oh, you like those videos? Oh, okay. So what should I search for? Well, I'm going to do one tomorrow. What should we search for? Zero. You call it. Give me the topic. Salt street rods up to 20,000. I don't know if that's really gonna. I don't know if that's a good topic. Motorcycles under 5,000. That's like almost all of them. Um, Mexican spec small cars that can take a V8 engine. How cheap can you get one? Okay. Rocco, heads and intakes, performance parts balls. Okay, that's a possibility. Made muscle classic trucks under 10,000. I was mixing in cars and trucks. We did that kind of. Zero saying I don't really ever so that shit. I would take suggestions from one of the good names here. Okay. Joker, what about the cheapest cars you can find that will drive cross country tomorrow? Not a psychic. There's no way to know if something's going to drive cross country tomorrow or if it's going to throw the crank on the ground the first time you hit the interstate. That really wouldn't work. Good flipper cars. What to look for, what to avoid. Okay, I you know I like that. Um, Power toys. What would cause a motor to bend a few rods and blow a lifter? Pistons look good. Uh, Bend a few rods, pistons look good. Blow a lifter, hydraulic lock. That sounds like hydraulic lock. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, yeah, 100% hydraulic lock. Richard Tuller. Uncle Tony, I need a 340 block bed. Please help. I have none, and I don't know where you can find one either. Uh, a blue collar dollar. Anybody here like underpowered cars and trucks that just keep on going and can damn near run on good whiskey? Yes, me. I love stuff like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't get any views. So you got to talk about the sexy stuff, hot rods, muscle cars, right? That kind of shit. That gets views. But yes, I love underpowered cars and trucks that just motor along. They're friendly, happy. They're like pets. Yes, absolutely. Power twist. Can you explain hydraulic lock, please? Sure. Liquid is not compressible. Um, so if liquid gets into the cylinder, it could be antifreeze, it could be water, it could be fuel, it could be anything. But there's more fuel in the combustion chamber than can fit when the piston's at top dead center. And so let's say you got a head gasket leak, okay, and you shut the car off, right? Um, you shut the car off, and it partially fills a cylinder with antifreeze. Now, when you go to crank it, if that cylinder is on a compression stroke, it's going to come up against the two closed valves, and it's going to just jam. It's like we're going any further. And you've got the momentum of the rotating assembly and the force of the starter pushing against it, and something's got to give. It'll bend the connecting rod. Um, World of Wood Chip. I'm over underpowered things. It equates to having to beat the snot out of it to move the load down the road. Well, it depends what you're doing now. If you're hauling stuff, no, you don't want underpowered, clearly. But I mean, underpowered could just be, in my mind, when you say underpowered in the context of the kind of stuff that we generally talk about, underpowered just means that it has an adequate amount of horsepower to, or an adequate amount of power to keep up with traffic and maneuver around normally, right? When everything is about this hot rod and that race car and this muscle car, underpowered just means that it has enough power to get down the road and do its thing. So yeah, I like stock normal cars. I get just as jazzed over like a. I ran into a kid that had a six-cylinder Falcon not too long ago, and I get just as jazzed over something like that as I would if it was a Boss 429 Mustang. It's just like I like basic cars. I like simple cars. Zero. I found a few customers tell me that after a 500 horsepower LS swap, it scared them enough to sell it. Really? Wife won't ride it, etc. Those cars exist. Some people have pretty low thresholds. 72Z28 saying underpowered equals reliable. Yeah, there isn't enough value put on just plain reliable, And I think so now that today's cars, okay, so now it's just like us conspiracy people. They, you go back like 20 years ago, right? And I was like, oh, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. And now it's like, see, I told you. Well, it's kind of going to be the same way now with cars and the general public, because it's always been, oh, get a new car. If you want something reliable, that'll last and not give you any problems, go get a new car. Well, that doesn't work anymore because the new cars have nothing but problems, crazy problems that we couldn't even fathom new cars having just like 10 years ago. But here we are, okay? So now the average person is starting to realize old is better. You know what I mean? It's like we were only a few decades ahead of you, but the average person is starting to catch on. And I think that anything that's just reliable that you can count on, that'll just go through its paces and not eat you out of house and home, I think it's going to become wildly popular.
Indisha Dorgo, I think it's more fun to drive a slow car fast and ring it out than it is to have a high horsepower car that you can't drive fast on city streets. My buddy John just did a Hellcat swap on his Cuda, 72 Barracuda, and it's a Hellcat with everything on it. Okay, like every extra that you could have. This is just maximum, right? Probably 800 horsepower, 900 horsepower. I don't even know. It doesn't make any difference. So as he's putting it together, like, and he did a beautiful job. I mean, I'm going to do a feature on this car because it looks factory. Everything he did on this thing looks exactly factory. So it's very impressive craftsmanship. But I told him as he was putting it together, I was like, you're not going to be able to use this. It's not going to, it's like not going to do anything. You don't need all of this extra. It's just going to sit there and freewheel. And he was like, yeah. So then a couple of weeks ago, he finally gets it together, running, sorted out on the ground, and he takes it for its first lap, its first ride. And he texted me. He says, "You were right." He says, "What?" He says, "You can't use it. You just step on the gas, and all it does is just spin the tires." And he's like, told you. Like there's a limit. Like anything on street tires, like normal street tires, normal use street suspension on the street, there's a limit, and it's right around 600 horsepower. Where anything beyond that, it just is, it's just a waste. It's just a waste. And the most fun you're going to have is going to be in the 400, 450, 500 horsepower range. Once you go over like 600, it's just, you step on the accelerator, it goes, wee! And if you like to get sideways at 30 miles an hour, then yes, that's the ticket. But if you're just looking to go, right? No, it doesn't hook. It doesn't hook. You need traction control. Yes, but then again, okay, the traction control is going to keep pulling power back. It's going to keep backing the timing. It's going to keep pulling the engine back. I understand. Yes, it's great. It's 1,000 horsepower when everything comes together and you can use it. But it's not just a little level of complication. Wouldn't you be better off instead of having 1,000 horsepower that the computer is always regulating and pulling back, going for pulling back and modulating? Isn't it better to just have a usable 550 horsepower or so and not have to worry about any of that? Did I miss a super chat? I might have. Oh, I did. Sorry, Joey Simmons, thank you. 318 or 440 in a 1982 Dodge Ram Charger 4x4 help. 360 would probably be your best choice. Uh, did it originally have, what was originally in it? What transmission and mounts are you working with? Because if it's a small block transmission and mounts and all of that, I would go with a 360. Uh, if 4x4 Ram Charger needs some arm, and that 360's got that little extra leverage to it. If you started off with a big block in there, oh no, you couldn't have. 1982, there were no big blocks. 360, 360. Find a nice 360 Magnum, a whole 5.9 Magnum with try the Dakota or anything that had a 360 Magnum in it, and just grab the whole electronics, everything, and plug it right into what you got and go drive it. Joey saying it had a 318 but bought a 440. Okay, so you're going to need a different transmission. you're going to need different mounts to get the 440 in there, different exhaust system. Everything is going to be different going to the big block. So if you don't mind a major project like that, then use the 440. If I was doing it and I don't have a specific thing in mind, I just want a good running, all around flexible Ram Charger with 4x4 with a decent amount of power. For me, it's a no-brainer. I would just throw a 360 in it. Power choice. How can I be certain valves are not bent? Compression test. Give it a compression test. Oh, you have the heads off, but the valves are in. Okay, do a liquid leak test on them. Okay, put the spark plugs in them. Okay, roll the cylinder head upside down so the valves are facing up. Level it out. Okay, then take some gasoline and fill each combustion chamber with gasoline. If the valves are bent, you'll see the gas run right out the ports. I should do a quick video on that. You know that that's such a common, simple thing. I think that's the kind of thing a lot of us overlook who've been around for any amount of time because it's just automatic. But that's how you do it. Take the cylinder head, turn it upside down, have spark plugs in it, okay? And then fill each combustion chamber with gas and just watch. If the valves are bent or not sealing for whatever reason, the fuel will run right past them and right out the port. You can't miss it. CD Burlock, Tony, what's common to 340 and 360? Same bore? No. Same stroke? No. Different. The different stroke, different bore. The 360 is the 340 is a 40 thousandths of an inch larger bore than a 360, and the stroke, the 340 is a 3.31, and the 360 is 3.58. Drag Park, Mark, thanks for asking, man. They're awesome. Little Amelia she's such an angel. She's like 9 weeks old now. She knows her name. She comes when you call her. She's doing like tricks. She's doing sit. She's awesome. She's absolutely awesome. And she gets along great with both of our sisters. Um, Roger Dalton, do you think the modern 6.2 and GM trucks would benefit from thicker oil than the 0W20 the factory recommends, even if not part of the recall? I don't mind losing some mile per gallon for longevity. Okay, the thin oil is not necessarily for mile per gallon. It's for the cam timing, for the variable cam timing. It needs a very, very thin oil to work through those little passages and affect the hydraulic changes to cam timing as it's called for by the computer. That's why the zero weight oils. You could throw a thicker oil in there, but it may affect the way the cam timing is going to work. So I couldn't give you an exact answer on that. You may want to talk to somebody who's more familiar with those specific engines, because some you can get away with and some you can't. No two systems are exactly the same. Cowcar Steve, after Dodge produced the Slant 6, did they ever have a straight 6 at the same time? They started to. So the Slant 6 was supposed to be replaced at some point during the early 70s. And that's where the Australian motor came from. The Australian motor was supposed to be the US replacement for the Slant 6, but it never entered, it never got used in the US market. Instead, they sent it over to Australia, and that became the Hemi 6. Power Toys, thank you. And thanks for helping out. I always appreciate it. And I always appreciate you, man. Thank you. Dakota's time out. Other than Rhodes lifters, is there any way you can adapt VVT to an older engine? No, Rhodes lifters is about that's about as close as you're going to get to a hydraulically controlled valve train in an older engine, or one that wasn't designed for it. Good call, Dakota, because Rhodes lifters actually does create a VVT situation. A lot of people don't put that connection together. Zero saying the Border Collie fleet, yes. Let me see. Oh, all right. I got to show you guys something real quick. Just because I'm a proud papa, okay? Give me 1 second. Kathy posted this. I gotta turn the volume up. Hang on. There we go.
Good girl. It was good. Sit. Yes, good girl. Down. Oh, this side down. Sit. Yeah, good girl. Down. Yeah, good girl. Very good, very good. You're so smart. Spin. Spin. Okay, good girl. Good girl. Sit. Oh, you stole that from me. Come here. Come here. Sit. Yeah, good girl. You sit pretty. Sit pretty. Yeah, very good. Sit pretty. Good girl. Good girl, Amelia. Good job. Good job. Good job.
That's Amelia. Jeff, what's happening, man? Are the dogs going to race again next year? Next week, there's a Fast Cat next weekend, and yeah, absolutely. And Amelia, not Amelia, obviously, she's not ready to race. Molly. So Molly is, last I checked, she was number 41 of all the Border Collies listed by the AKC. So she's number 4. She's the 41st fastest Border Collie out of 475 dogs. So we're going to beat that. We're going to beat that this week coming. Jack Packmark, thanks for sharing that. Dude, the world needs more happy dogs. The world needs more happy puppy videos. There's no question about it. I missed something up here. Joey Simmons for Super Slicker, thank you.
Mark Sauvé, how do you manage to train your dogs? We have 7 dachshunds, and it's impossible to train when the others interfere. You have to take them off by themselves. So Kathy does that stuff. And so there are some things that she brings them all together. We got 6 dogs now, right? So there's some of them where she brings them all together, and a couple of my dogs are untrainable. Okay, they're just they're just not, they don't have it. Okay, you can't train them. Three of them are rescues, and then I have the 3 border collies. So she'll bring them all together, and she'll make them sit and spin and stuff like that, right? And then when she wants to actually train, she'll take one of them aside, bring her upstairs or in here, close the door so the other ones, and then she'll work with them. But yeah, you have to separate them if you're going to try to train them. Myself, I don't even pretend to try to train. I tell her, and I tell everybody at like the dog club, I'm only here to pet them. That's all I'm concerned with. I'm just here to pet the dogs. Power choice. Should I reuse head bolts? I am skeptical on new ones. I've had some break off. So unless the head bolts, so if you do with torque to yield head bolts, you can't reuse them. You've got to throw them out. It's a scam, okay? It's a freaking scam. If you're dealing with good old-fashioned American head bolts, like on a small block Chevy from like the 70s or the 80s, yeah, you can reuse them until the end of time. But it just depends on what you got. Jeff saying, we have always had dachshunds and they are just plain stubborn. Kind of like top fuel dragsters, huh, Jeff? Untrainable, but so damn cute, like a nitro addiction, except dachshunds. Listen, I'm like a broken record around here, okay? I know you must drive Kathy crazy, but the thought pops into my head constantly that border collies are the best thing I have ever done in my life. I have done so many things, been there, done it, got the t-shirt. I have seen goats fuck in the marketplace, okay? Border collies are the best thing I have ever done in my life. Fireflies talking stuffed baked potato. Yes. Oh, that would be good. I used to get them from, I don't know how they are these days. I used to go to Wendy's. I wouldn't touch Wendy's these days, okay? I'm talking 20 years ago. But I had a stuffed baked potato addiction. The cheddar and bacon. Oh, it was so freaking good. Of course, it wasn't real cheddar and it wasn't real bacon and it probably wasn't even a real freaking potato, but it was really, really good. Mexicans like, you must have lots of t-shirts or like thousands, bro. I got like thousands. Yeah, Super Auto, the Wiener Dog Winter Nationals. That was an old commercial. I don't know if you guys have ever seen. You have to be old. You gotta be, because this was like 30 years ago. There was a commercial called the Wiener Dog Winter Nationals. It was one of the beer companies. And then Fubar once again put up the link to my merch. So if you want to support my border collie habit, that's one way to do it. Thank you, Fubar. We're gonna start talking about food again here now. Oh please, you guys know I'm a degenerate foodie. Okay, I can't help myself. We tried sauteed kielbasa in a honey barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that right? It sounds kind of sweet. So it's yesterday recently, and it was delicious. I don't know. Sean the person, what car is that in the thumbnail? That was my house. That was a house that I rented an apartment out of in Huguenot on Staten Island back in the middle 1980s. And the car that's in the driveway is the Fireball Monza funny car. Um, Power Toys, a valve general overview video would be great if you haven't done one in the past couple of years. I'll take that in consideration. Yes. Um, Actually, based on what you were saying before, I think I'm going to do a real quick video on how to check heads, just like we talked about. Um, Mexican spec black with yellow flame. Yes. Just look up pictures of the Fireball Monza. Uh, Dickie Farley. I fed and watered the beagle I ran into last night, but it had a collar, so I'm just hoping to find its way home. If not, remember my food and water. When it comes to get a picture, it was gone. Wait, so I'm just hoping to find its way home. If not, remember my food and water. When it comes out to get a picture, it was gone. Oh. So you had a beagle show up at your place. You gave it food and water, and then it took off. Oh. Yeah, beagles will do that, man. I've had many beagles, and they're escape artists. They want to go. Um, it's funny. Border collies is exactly the opposite. Border collies do not ever want to be more than 10 feet away from you. They stuck to you. And beagles, when they get a chance, they want to go. Right? They follow their nose. They're looking for an adventure. Uh, Nasty Bastard Live. Will a mini starter fit a push button torque flight? Depends on the year of the torque flight. Uh, if it's a cast iron torque flight, no. No, you have to use a direct drive starter. If it's an aluminum case torque flight, so 1962 and newer, then yes, it'll take a mini starter. Um, Salt, Tony, you went to New Dorp High School or Tottenville? Wagner. Wagner. They got thrown out of there in 1978. 1978. Bit, where is the Goldwing? I got rid of it, man. I got rid of it. I put like, I don't know, I put like a couple hundred miles on it, and it wasn't for me. I passed on to somebody who could appreciate it. It just wasn't for me. It didn't, it was a neat novelty for a little while, but it didn't talk to me, man. I had to go. Zero found the Miller Lite Wiener Dog Winter Nationals. There's a link to it if you guys want to check it out. Uh, we should have the weather starting to pop through here, like. soon. I can't believe we blew through 2 hours already. Sean, the person, never understood why dogs want to run from their owners, probably because I'm not a dog. Different dogs are wired differently. They're not all the same, you know. Beagles want to run. They want to go explore. It's not that they're trying to run away from you, you know, but they just want to be out. They run. They go where their nose is. Dickie Farley, I wrote a message explaining things about the dog a little better before the message you read, but yeah, I left the food and water out. Hopefully, if it gets hard up, it comes back. It will. They're smart. They're smart. But he might have just been out for a stroll through the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And they'll do that. They'll go for a stroll. It lasts a couple of days. I know because I've had this happen. They escape. They'll dig under a fence. They'll squeeze their way through something. Beagles are escape artists, and they'll go for they're gone for a couple of days, and then they just show back up again. So, but they remember. They know their way through the neighborhood. They can smell their home. They know they can smell how far away from their home that they are. They're really they operate on a different wavelength, a different frequency than we do. So, but yeah, you did the right thing. Give food and water, and worst comes to worst, he'll come back. You know, if you didn't find his way home. Joker, how's Maggie? Is she being like a mother to the puppy? Not really. It's so Maggie was like a mom to Winnie when we brought Winnie home, and then Winnie was like a mom to Molly, and now Molly is kind of being like a mom to. So it's like a generational thing. It's like the next youngest takes over as the mom when the new one comes. So now Molly is looking after Amelia. I hear the puppy carrying on in there now. Let's see. Let's get a. Let's call her. Nasty bastard. You still keep chickens? No. Cat? Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up. Can we have a puppy appearance here? Okay. All right. Power to. Are you into cafe races? I love those bikes. Easy to make too. Yeah, I mean, I have a sporty that's essentially what you could call it a cafe racer. I think of it as a hot rod. It's just stripped down, low, loud, obnoxious. Um, so yeah, I mean, you could call it a cafe racer. I call it a hot rod. But yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I much prefer that kind of bike than a bigger dresser, heavier type of bike. It's puppy time, and that the little one is the puppy, and the big one is Kathy Bananas.
Tearing me.
Yes, here
Shreds.
here she is.
Oh yes, kiss daddy.
She loves daddy. So, how old is she now?
9 weeks on Wednesday.
Come here, Amelia. Say hi to YouTube.
9 weeks on Wednesday.
Yeah, she'll be 9 weeks old. She was like if you go back like 6 months ago, she wasn't even a puddle. Okay, look at that. So she's all revved up. Oh, she's such a good girl.
She's very revved up.
She is revved up.
Turn into me.
Yes. So, all right. So, guys, I am going to wrap it up now that we got a puppy here.
Yeah, you can take care of her now for a while.
I'm going to relieve Kathy from
Yeah.
puppy duty here.
And you rest.
Yes. Oh, well, she wants to go. There she goes.
Oh, there she goes.
So,
All right.
guys, our incredible mods, Kat, thank our mods.
Thank you, guys.
Aren't you going to
Appreciate it.
thank them specifically?
Mexican spec.
Yeah.
Bluer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for what?
Moderating.
Aren't they the best moderators in all of the internet?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, guys. And what about people who contribute with Super Chat? What about that?
And all of everybody who commented and showed up here
Yes.
on Sundays and Wednesdays.
Oh, look, she's eating merch.
Yeah, she's eating the merch.
Yes. No, no, no. Hey, we need that to take to you. Get over here.
No, I have to
You
move
got a
that.
pile of shirts getting ready to ship over here.
Yeah.
Puppy's eating them.
No.
So everybody contributed Super Chat. Thank you so much. Everybody contributed just to your presence and your conversation. Thank you equally. And will there be a fourth border collie? Well, that's this year's puppy.
No. She's biting me.
That's this year's puppy.
Ow.
All right. So that's it, guys. I'm going to call it a night. Dr. Art will be with us usually on our usual Wednesday night thing. And that's it. If you're in the weather tonight, there's lots of crazy weather. It's coming through here shortly. So keep an eye on the forecast. Yeah. No.
Come again.
All right. We're going to go take care of this. Good night, all.
Good night.